Every cop in my town refused to respond to one address after midnight, and Tonight Dispatch accidentally sent me there. Every police department has rumors. Stories older officers tell rookies just to mess with them. But in my town, there was one rule nobody joked about. Never respond to calls from 411 Waverly Road after midnight. No one would explain why. Every time I asked, the older cops would either change the subject or say, "If dispatch sends you there, tell them your radio died." I thought it was some stupid hazing thing. Then last October, during my third week on night shift, dispatch called in a welfare check at 12:43 a.m. Old woman, reports of screaming inside the house. Address, 411 Waverly Road. The second it came through the radio, the entire station went quiet. My training officer looked at me and said, completely serious, "Do not go inside that house." But dispatch had already logged me en route. The house sat at the end of a dead road surrounded by dead trees. No lights except one upstairs window glowing yellow. The front door was already open when I got there. I announced myself twice. No answer. Then I heard it. A little girl crying upstairs. Every instinct told me to wait for backup, but the crying sounded real, terrified. So I went in. The inside smelled rotten. Not like garbage. Worse. The walls were covered in old family photos, but every single face had been scratched out. Then the crying stopped. Complete silence. And from upstairs, I heard a man's voice say, "Officer, help me." Not, "Help us. Help me." I started backing toward the door when dispatch suddenly screamed through my radio, "Get out of the house right now." At that exact moment, every light upstairs turned on. And I swear to God, there were people standing in every window, just staring at me, not moving. I ran. The second I got outside, the front door slammed so hard the glass shattered. My radio started blasting static, and through it I heard the same little girl whisper, "He made us stay." Backup finally arrived 10 minutes later. I told them what I saw. Nobody spoke the entire drive back. Then my training officer handed me an old newspaper clipping from 1987. A man at that address had murdered his wife and 2 daughters before hanging himself upstairs. When I asked why nobody told me the full story sooner, he just looked at me and said, "Because every officer who stayed in that house past 1 a.m. either quit or came back different." I transferred departments 2 weeks later, but sometimes around midnight, I still get radio static in my apartment. And underneath it, I hear a little girl crying.